Hey there, and welcome. Ever stop to think if nature has its own cleanup crew? Well, turns out it does. Today, we're diving into this really cool, elegant way to heal our sick waters. It's called biomanipulation, and honestly, it's all about letting the ecosystem fix itself. And trust me, it's absolutely fascinating.
But before we get into the nuts and bolts, let's set the scene. Picture this, a beautiful, crystal clear lake that slowly, day by day, turns into this gross, murky green soup. So what's going on? Why does this happen? It's actually a super common problem, and today we're going to play detective and figure out how to solve it. All right, here's our game plan, our detective's roadmap, if you will. We'll kick things off with the problem. Then we'll get into hacking the food web with a couple of really smart strategies. We'll see how they team up, and of course, we'll cover why any of this even matters. So that green soup we talked about, it's got a fancy scientific name, eutrophication. Basically, it's what happens when a lake's entire ecosystem just gets thrown completely out of whack. It gets choked out by these massive explosions of algae. It's really like the lake itself is crying out for help.
Now, you might think, okay, just dump a bunch of chemicals in there, right? But hold on, there is a much better way. The real lasting fix isn't cooked up in some lab. Nope, the answer is already there, hiding right inside the lake's own food web.
Okay, so let's get into it. Let's talk about hacking the food web to bring back that natural balance. And this super powerful technique, that's what we call biomanipulation.
So what is it exactly? Well, biomanipulation is basically an ecological restoration technique. You see it used in lakes, reservoirs, ponds, you name it. The best way to think about it is like being an ecosystem manager. You're not adding chemicals. You're just carefully tweaking the living parts of the food web to get them to clean the water and bring the whole system back to life. All right, our first strategy is called top-down control, and this is exactly what it sounds like. We're calling in the big guns, the bosses of the lake. We start right at the top of the food chain, tweaking the predator populations to create this awesome positive ripple effect that goes all the way down. And the logic behind this? It's actually beautifully simple. Get this. You add more big predator fish, right? They eat up the smaller fish. With fewer small fish swimming around, these tiny little grazers they used to snack on, they're called zooplankton, suddenly their population can boom. And guess what zooplankton absolutely love to eat? You guessed it. Algae, that green stuff.
This is so cool. What you're seeing here is a perfect example of a domino effect, what scientists call a trophic cascade. Just follow the steps. 1, we introduce predator fish, think pike or bass. That leads to 2, fewer little fish that eat plankton, which then allows for 3, a huge boom in the zooplankton population. And those little guys get to work, grazing down all the algae in step 4, leading to our grand finale in step 5, crystal clear water. It's awesome!
Now, this top-down method is pretty great, right? I mean, it's super environmentally friendly and you're not using any harsh chemicals, which is a huge plus. But, you know, it's not a magic bullet. It can be kind of slow to see the results, and you really have to keep managing the ecosystem carefully. It's a delicate balance, and you got to make sure it doesn't just slip right back to where it started. Okay, let's switch gears and look at our second tactic, the bottom-up approach. So if top-down was all about managing the predators, the bosses, well, bottom-up is about cutting off the problem's fuel supply. We're going to starve the algae right at the source. So this strategy goes right for the root of the problem, the very foundation of the food web. See, those massive algae blooms, they don't just appear out of thin air. They're fueled by way too many nutrients in the water. We're talking nitrogen and phosphorus, stuff that runs off from farms, from cities. So bottom-up control, it's all about shutting off that nutrient pipeline.
And how do we actually do that? Well, it involves some pretty big practical actions. Things like seriously upgrading wastewater treatment plants, or planting these buffer strips of plants and trees around lakes to physically catch the runoff before it gets in, even restoring wetlands to act as natural filters. It's less about managing the lake itself and more about re-engineering the entire landscape around it to protect the water.
The huge pro here is that you're tackling the root cause. That means you're creating real, long-term, sustainable change. But what's the catch? Well, the downside is that this can take years to really see the results, and it often means you have to coordinate everything across an entire watershed, which, trust me, is a massive, massive undertaking. Okay, so we've got two pretty solid strategies, right? Top-down and bottom-up. But here's where it gets really interesting. What happens when you combine them? You get the ultimate team-up, Turns out, the most successful projects don't pick one over the other. They use both, and they attack the problem from every single angle. And this chart just lays it out perfectly. You can see the core differences, right? Top down is all about the fish, the higher levels. It's about predator manipulation, and it works on a medium timescale. Bottom up, on the other hand, targets the nutrients, the fuel. It's a long-term game. They're basically two different tools designed for two different parts of the very same job.
Or, let's put it even more simply. Top down, that's about managing the eaters. It's all about who eats whom. And bottom up, that's about managing the fuel. It's all about what does the algae have to eat. Simple as that.
And that is the key takeaway here. When you combine these two approaches, you really do get the best of both worlds. You're cutting off the nutrient fuel flowing into the lake, and you're adding those predator fish to mop up any algae that still manages to pop up. That is how you build a resilient, stable, clear water ecosystem that's gonna last.
So, okay, at the end of the day, why does any of this really matter? Well, because biomanipulation isn't just a clever trick. It's an incredibly powerful and natural set of tools. And look, this is about way more than just making lakes look pretty for Instagram. This is about restoring a fundamental ecological balance that we've lost. Think about what it achieves when we get it right. It controls that nasty eutrophication, it dramatically improves water quality, it cuts down on those dangerous toxic algal blooms, it boosts biodiversity, and maybe best of all, it does all of this without us having to rely on dumping chemicals into our water. It's just a win-win-win all around.
Ultimately, this all just goes to show you that our waters are these incredibly complex, delicate webs. And something like biomanipulation proves that we have the knowledge, we have the tools to help them heal. So I guess the only question left is, are we wise enough to actually step up and be their guardians?